Why does milk come in square cartons, but Coke comes in round bottles? You probably never thought about it, but once you see the answer, the world gets weird fast. Suddenly, Starbucks discounts look different, airline tickets look different, movie theater popcorn looks different, college admissions looks different, and every free app on your phone starts looking a lot less free. Because none of it is random. Water can save your life and still cost $2. A diamond can do almost nothing and cost more than a car. Two people can buy the same coffee and pay two different prices. Everyone can hate the college admissions race and still keep running it. That is not coincidence. That is incentives. Milk cartons are not random. Airline prices are not random. Movie popcorn is not random. Free apps are definitely not random. Every weird little thing around you is usually there because it helped someone save money, make money, sort people, or change behavior. So let's start with the milk. Why is it square? Why is Coke round? The obvious answer is wrong. It is not because square cartons use less material. For the same amount of liquid, a cylinder can actually be more efficient than a box. So why does milk still come in a box? Because the real cost is not the carton. The real cost is the space around the carton. Milk has to be refrigerated. That means it lives inside a grocery store cooler, and refrigerated space is expensive. Every inch has to be cooled. Every empty gap is wasted cold air. Square cartons stack tightly. They waste less space. They let the store fit more milk into the same refrigerator. Coke is different. Coke can sit on a normal shelf. Normal shelf space is cheaper, so the space you save with a box is not worth giving up what a round bottle does better. It feels good in your hand. People drink Coke straight from the bottle. They hold it in the car, at a game, on a walk, at a cookout. Milk usually gets poured into something else. The grip matters less. Same liquid problem, completely different answer. Because the incentives are different. That is the first lesson. The question is not what is better. The question is what is worth it. That one idea explains a ridiculous amount of the world. Why does a 24-hour store have a lock on the door? If it is open all day and all night, why does it need a lock? Because doors are mass-produced. Most commercial doors come with locks. Making a special door without a lock for the tiny number of businesses that never close might cost more than just buying the normal door. So the lock stays. Not because the store needs it every night, because removing it is not worth the trouble. That is how economists look at the world. They do not just ask, why is this weird? They ask, what made this weird thing the cheapest option? And once you understand that, prices become much easier to read. Because a price is not just a number. A price is a little machine. Sometimes it sells you something. Sometimes it sorts you. Sometimes it traps you. Take Starbucks. Two people can buy almost the same drink from the same store and pay completely different prices. One pays full price. One uses rewards. One gets a student discount. One orders through a delivery app promo. One waits for a buy one get one deal. Same coffee, different price. So is that unfair? In a cold business sense, it is almost too fair. Because different people value the same product differently. A lawyer rushing to a meeting might pay $7 without thinking. A college student might only buy the drink if there is a deal. If Starbucks charges one high price, it loses the student. If it charges one low price, it leaves money on the table from the lawyer. So the best business strategy is simple. Charge each person as close as possible to what they are willing to pay. But there is a problem. How does a company know what you are willing to pay? It cannot just ask. Everyone would say, I am broke. So companies make you reveal yourself. A coupon is not just a discount. A coupon is a confession. If you spend 5 minutes searching for a promo code, you have told the company something important. You are price sensitive. If you do not bother, you have told them something else. Your time is worth more to you than the discount. The company did not need to guess. You sorted yourself. Airlines do the same thing. Why is the same seat cheaper if you book it months ahead, but painfully expensive if you need it tomorrow? Because the early buyer is usually planning a vacation. They can compare prices. They can move dates. They care about saving money. The last-minute buyer may be traveling for work, a funeral, a family emergency, or something urgent. They need the seat. So the airline charges more. It is not just selling transportation. It is pricing desperation. Movie theaters do this too. The ticket gets you in the door. The popcorn is where the money is. Why does a bucket of popcorn cost almost as much as dinner? Because once you are inside the theater, you are not just buying corn. You are buying the date, the kids' night out, the smell, the ritual, the feeling that a movie without popcorn is not really a movie. The theater has already found the people who care about the experience. Now it charges for the experience. Economists call this price discrimination. The name sounds ugly. The logic is simple. Different people are willing to pay different prices. Businesses build systems that make those people reveal themselves. That is why discounts are not just discounts, they are sorting machines. But pricing gets even stranger. Because sometimes the most useful things in the world are cheap, and the most useless things are expensive. Water keeps you alive. Diamonds mostly sit on fingers. So why is water cheap and diamonds expensive? This question confused economists for centuries. The answer is marginal value. Price does not measure how useful something is in total. Price measures how badly someone wants one more. Water has enormous total value. Without it, you die. But if you already drank 8 glasses today, the 9th glass is not worth much to you. Diamonds have much less practical use, but they are scarce. Most people may only buy one major diamond in their life. That one diamond carries status, emotion, scarcity, and symbolism, so that next diamond can be worth a lot. The price tag is not asking, how useful is this thing? It is asking, how badly does someone want the next one? That explains Taylor Swift tickets. Music is not rare. Taylor Swift is. That explains top NBA salaries. Basketball is not rare. LeBron James is. That explains why software engineers can create so much value. Typing is not rare. Code that scales to 100 million users is. That explains limited sneakers, Rolex watches, rare collectibles, sold-out concerts, and almost every luxury product. The world does not pay the most for what is useful. It pays the most for what is hard to replace. Scarcity decides price more often than usefulness does. And once you see that, a lot of unfair prices start looking less mysterious. But incentives do not only explain business. They also explain why smart people build stupid systems. You have seen this at a concert. One person in the front stands up. The person behind them cannot see, so they stand up too. Then the row behind them stands up. Then the row behind that row. Eventually, the whole crowd is standing, and almost nobody can see better than before. Everyone is just more tired. Every person made the rational choice, but the group got a worse result. That is the trap. Individual logic can create collective stupidity. Now look at college admissions. Everyone knows the race is insane. SAT tutors, AP classes, private coaches, admissions consultants, volunteering that is not really volunteering. Clubs started mostly because they look good on an application. Parents hate it, students hate it, but everyone keeps doing it. Why? Because if everyone else is adding one more signal, stopping feels dangerous. If every student adds 3 more achievements, the ranking may not change at all. Everyone just spends more money, sleeps less, and becomes more anxious. Nobody wants the arms race. Nobody wants to be the first to disarm. Companies do the same thing with advertising. If one brand stops spending, a competitor takes the attention. So every brand keeps spending. Market share may barely move, but the bill gets bigger. Degrees work the same way. When a college degree was rare, it was a strong signal. Then, more people got degrees. The signal weakened. So people added master's degrees, internships, certificates, side projects, personal brands. Each step makes sense for one person. Together, they make the whole system more expensive just to prove the same thing. This is one of the darkest lessons in economics. You do not need bad people to get bad outcomes. You only need good incentives pointing in a bad direction. So how do you escape? You change the incentives. At a concert, the venue can enforce a rule. If you block everyone, you get removed. In education, schools can change what they reward. In business, regulators can change what companies are allowed to do. But most people do not control the rules. They just play the game in front of them. And that brings us to the most dangerous price in the world. 0. Free feels harmless because free does not feel like a price. It feels like a gift. But 0 is not the absence of cost. 0 is where the cost gets hidden. Sometimes it hides in your attention. Sometimes in your data. Sometimes in your habits. Sometimes in a subscription you forget to cancel. Sometimes in a default you never choose again. Free does not mean nobody pays. It means the payment moved somewhere else. Why are so many internet products free? Because you are not always the customer. Sometimes you are the product. Your searches, your clicks, your watch time, your location, your interests, your friends, your buying behavior. Those are valuable. Google and Meta did not become 2 of the most powerful companies in history by giving away charity. They built machines that turn attention and data into advertising money. Free trials work the same way. They are not just letting you try the product. They are trying to enter your routine. Once the app is on your phone, once your photos are uploaded, once your playlists are built, once your team is using it, Once your card is attached, canceling becomes work. And work is exactly what most people avoid. Free shipping is not free either. The cost gets baked into prices, memberships, minimum orders, seller fees, worker pressure, or platform subsidies. Someone pays. The cost did not disappear. It changed addresses. That is why free is never free. The price can be zero while the cost is attention. The price can be zero while the cost is privacy. The price can be zero while the cost is dependence. The price can be zero because someone else is paying to reach you. Free is not a miracle. Free is a business model. So now, go back to the beginning. Milk is square because cold space is expensive. Coke is round because grip is worth more than shelf efficiency. Coupons exist because companies want you to reveal how price-sensitive you are. Diamonds cost more than water because price follows scarcity, not usefulness. College admissions became an arms race because nobody wants to be the first to stop. And free apps are free because the payment moved somewhere else. None of this is random. It is all incentives. Economics is not really the study of money. It is the study of why the world keeps arranging itself this way. Once you see incentives, you stop asking only, is this fair? Or, why is this stupid? You start asking better questions. Who benefits? What cost is being hidden? What behavior is being rewarded? What would have to change for the result to change? That is where the machine is. And in a world full of fake discounts, expensive free products, and systems nobody likes but everybody keeps playing, seeing the machine is already an advantage. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe to Money Machine Lab. Every week, we take apart the companies, prices, products, markets, and strange businesses people see every day, and show the machine underneath. No hype, no stock picks, just how money really moves.